Satnam Aloha. So today I want to talk about the solar eclipse that's coming on March 29th here. And it's in the sign of Aries. And if you follow astrology, there's lots of YouTubes about this. But this is, I take a different approach. So March 29th, the solar eclipse. So we'll go through these points here. So the spiritual meaning of solar eclipses and why this one's so different, and how samskaras, which is a yogic term for past life wounds, why are they surfacing now during this eclipse? We'll go over the human design codes. So the solar eclipse is activating the 17th gate, 6th line, and we'll talk about the movement to the 21st gate. And so this is the vision, action, and the motivation. And then we'll go into the Pluto and Scorpio souls, born with the poison to transmute it. And then we'll go over the judgment reversed and the tower. This is resisting the call, resisting the soul purpose, and answering it with innocence. And then we'll go over gate 25 because Neptune, Venus, and Mercury are all activating this gate. And this is part of the channel of initiation, and this is returning to unconditional love. And then we'll do the twin flame eclipse reading, and then we'll do card pulls for each of the human design types, past life themes, and guidance. So in terms of my fractal, because that's who I'm here serving, right? So this is for the fractal. So what does that mean? There's 144,000 templates on planet Earth. And so one of those 144,000 templates is my fractal. So you'll know you're on my fractal because you'll like the sound of my voice. You'll find it soothing. Your body will relax listening to me. And you'll just resonate with my message. So that means you're on my fractal. And that's who I'm serving with this channel, the divine feminines of my fractal. So if you're annoyed by my voice, or he's too slow, blah, 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 I'm bored, right? Chances are I'm not on your fractal. So you can move on. I don't take any offense, right? So it's for you. And I've noticed that people really like the long form, right, of these videos, which not everybody likes, right, with the attention deficit disorder that's prevalent. But that's a good sign because you're taking in the frequency. So remember that I'm not really teaching you anything new, right? What I'm doing is I'm reminding you of things you already know. You already know this stuff. It's just about awakening. Okay, Divine Feminine. So let's get into it here. So let's talk about what is a solar eclipse in terms of spirituality. What does it do? Well, it reboots your timeline. And so a solar eclipse is really a new moon on steroids. So instead of seeding a new intention, it wipes the karmic slate clean. So it's like a spiritual pause. It's like taking a rest. You know, when you play music, there's that rest. Well, this is where there's a void, right? This is where there's a void. And notice this, the word avoid. I just was meditating on this today. To avoid something is to miss the void, right? And the void is the unknown. So this is where there's a void, a gap. And these are when the soul contracts can dissolve and ancestral patterns can fall away. So these are past life imprints, samskaras, which I'll go into in a minute, are reactivated so that they can be purified, right? So these are past life imprints. So the eclipses are really collapsing illusions. It's not a theme, for the last couple months is this collapse of illusions. It's because Neptune is moving into the sign of Aries. It's been there since 2011. And this is happening the day after the eclipse. I'm not going to talk about that for this video, but I'll kind of you know, take a little peek into it on Friday and then do a fuller, deeper dive for next Tuesday. So this is about amplifying truth, right? And then it's exposing what's hiding, and often from other lifetimes. So the solar eclipse, they activate the nodes of fate, and that's the north node and the south node. You know, this is the axis, our karmic axis. So when it touches the north node of the moon, and that's what it's doing, and that's what a solar eclipse is, it pulls you forward by burning what can't come with you. You know, it's like you're going on a trip and you can't be taking your furniture with you, you know, the things that are holding you back. So it burns whatever is not coming with you in the next leg of your journey. So this is 29 degrees, or sorry, March 29th is the eclipse is in Aries, and it's conjunct the north node, which means that past lives are surfacing so that you can leave them behind. So past life, which I'll get into with the samskaras, are surfacing so that you can see them and then leave them behind, right? Because you need to get the spiritual lesson so that you can move forward. So they reactivate soul agreements. And this is a time where eclipses, they thin the veil and they're doorways in between lifetimes. So you may feel like past life karmics return in your life, or you're thinking about them, or you're dreaming about them, or they're contacting you. You can have flashbacks, deja vu, body level emotional reactions without any real context. It's like my body's reacting, like what's going on, right? Well, these soul agreements are dissolving. There can be sudden endings that feel fated, but they release you, like sudden endings from relationships, a living situation, or a job will just suddenly, like, it's like the hatchet comes down, right? But it's releasing you. It's liberating you. So the echo of who you were can surface through grief or rage and anger or ecstasy or even tenderness. So eclipses reveal the unresolved soul fragments still attached to old lifetimes. You have to let this go. Remember, you got to travel light now, and you got to be the light, and you got to spread the light, and you have to spread the light. So that means you have to be light, right, from these old karmic programs. So the other thing they do is they invite soul reclamation. This is soul retrieval, right? So with the gate 25, I'll show you the chart up here. So, right, look, we've got Mercury, Venus, and Neptune all in gate 25 up here, which I talked about on the Friday transmission. And then here's the moon's activating the 17, right? The 17.6 sun and moon together makes a new moon, and then this is coming off the Ajna center. So back to the 25. This is just not about letting go, right? It's about calling yourself back. That's why this is an important eclipse. From where you've been abandoned, betrayed, crucified, silenced, or exiled, right? Not just this lifetime, all your past lives. So you're not here to repeat the karmic pattern. You've already done it, right? So the karmic pattern can be coming up, which I'll explain, but you're here to reclaim the wisdom that survived it. Like, what did I learn from that karmic pattern? That's why it's coming up, so you can grab the gift of it. So this eclipse is really the return to Eden, right? This is our innocence, right? But only if you're willing to leave the old story behind. So some questions to ask yourself during this time are, where have I lived this pattern before? Just ask it. As soon as you ask the question, this is spiritual law, you ask a question and answer hold hands. So as soon as you ask yourself, like in meditation, Where have I lived this pattern before? The answer will come, but you have to be patient, right? It will come through your intuition. Who am I karmically carrying in my life right now? Who am I waiting for, right? Goes back to your karma. Who are you waiting for to catch up, right? To rise. And who are you carrying? You're carrying, trying to fix them. You're carrying them, carrying their weight. Spiritually carrying them. And what identity must die for my soul to live? And what part of my soul have I left in another lifetime? Right? This is a soul fragment. What part of my soul have I left in another lifetime? It's time to bring it back. Right? A relationship or a wound. Right? Some kind of relationship that I left in another lifetime that's coming back. Right? That's coming back. Because you probably have some unfinished business. Right? Remember, this is North Node, so it's pulling you forward. So that can be happening too. Or a wound that you have to transcend, right? To transcend. Okay. So let's talk about samskaras, which they come from your past life. And their tendencies. They're tendencies of the mind, right? Of the mind. And so they come from trauma that you've experienced in your past life. So it's encoded in your soul, your subtle body, right? And so it can remain dormant in your life, right? Maybe lifetimes the samskaras have remained dormant. They're like grooves in a record, right? They just keep going around and around. And then with certain frequencies, then they'll start to surface. So this is really key during the eclipse, right? So the eclipse is reactivating core themes that you thought you healed. So it reveals karmic contracts that are still embedded in your body, especially divine feminines in your womb, in your heart, your throat, and your spine. So the eclipse is burning the distortion, but only if you're willing to feel the heat within your body, and that heat is emotions. Those are emotions. So really it's about offering you a doorway to move beyond reaction into remembrance. Remembering who you are, right? Because right now you're in a karmic fog that's going to be the solar eclipse, and then boom, Neptune in Aries, right? The fog's going to start to lift, and you're going to start to remember who you are. You're going to start to remember your past lives and your gifts and your power. So the eclipse doesn't create the wound, it reveals the wound and what's been encoded in your energy field for lifetimes. So this is your moment not to repeat the karma, but to complete it. Right? So you're in Earth School, you're in a karmic situation right now, and you don't want to repeat it. You don't want to get trapped in this loop over and over and over and over and over again, right? You want to complete the lesson. So there's a lot of support for you, like divine support for you. So for the divine feminines, right, many of you in my fractal are carrying some scars around being silenced, right? In your past life, and then this lifetime is coming up with your karmics, your karmic relationships. I can't speak, right? I have to censor myself. I'm not heard. I'm not misunderstood, right? This is from your past life. Some scars where you've been emotionally abandoned in the past, and then you play that out in this lifetime. You've been sexualized, right? Sexualized, objectified, desired, lusted after, but you've never been truly seen beyond your form. Your soul hasn't been seen, right? Of who you really are, that you're more than this body and this form. And then a samskara around earning love instead of receiving it. So issues around self-worth. And all these imprints are stored in the body. So this can be expressed as chronic fatigue, emotional flashbacks, right? These feelings coming back, anger or sadness or grief, a resistance to softness and gentleness, pain when being seen the truth, right? But gate 25 in this eclipse say you can reclaim your innocence now, not by going back to those old karmic loops, right? But by walking forward in your innocence and your trust. Okay? Easier said than done, I can hear people say. But we're going to get into it, like how you can work through this energy. So if we go back to the 17.6 up here, this is off the Ajna Center in Human Design, right there. The 17 represents the left eye. The left eye or the right eye. I've got kind of dyslexia. I think it's the right eye, the 17, and the 11 is the left eye. Okay, back to here. But put it in the comments if you know for sure. Okay. So let's go to the 17.6. Well, the 17.6 is the vision keeper. So this is the hawk. This is the hawk. So this is the totem animal for the 17. I actually have the 17 natally. Maybe you do too. Put it in the comment box if you do. And they fly, right? They fly above the tribal noise. The tribe, right? The back and forth. The world, right? The world. Beyond the emotional reactivity that we see out in the world. The drama, right? They tune into divine patterns of movement and truth. So, right? So they've got a view up here. They're not down on the ground. So what is this saying? That you're having mental solar eclipse is going to give you mental clarity and vision, right? It's like I see the karmic pattern now. I see it very, very clearly. I'm beyond the karma here, right? Of the fighting, the back and forth, and the emotional reactivity. It's like, no, I'm above it now, and I can see this karmic pattern, right? So you're already seeing it, right? This is what this is saying. You're already seeing it because this is the 6th line, right? The gate hexagram moves from 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 4, 5, 6, right? So this is saying that this is no longer the 17th gate in the 6th line. It's no longer interested in the 17th gate. It's not. It's at the very, very top. It's looking to the next one, which is 21.1 in the wheel, right? So go back to here. So whenever you see a 6th line, right, the 6th line here, it's always looking to the next, right? So the next one, I don't have the wheel here as a slide, but the next one is the 21, right? 17 is looking to the 21, okay? So this is set, and this is all about logic, right? The 17. So this has been saying that you've been using logic. Humanity's been using logic, but I'm talking to you. You've been using strategy and logic in your life, and the 17.6 is like, it's time to stop. It's time to stop that now, right? It's time to embrace this cross of the sleeping phoenix that's coming in 2027, right? So you're the very top, you're seeing the karmic patterns, you're seeing your self-sabotaging, you're seeing your karmic relationship really clearly, you're seeing it. And it's what it's saying with the 21, because the 21's willpower, it's your willpower here, it's saying it's time to take action. Okay, you've seen it. You've seen the timeline. You've had a view of your future timeline. It's come in glimpses. No, it wasn't your imagination. Your soul is communicating to you. You can actually see it. You can see it. And now the next step with the solar eclipse is time to take action, right? It's time to harness that willpower and then start to make action. And remember, the vision that you're receiving, it's not just for you, it's for the world. This is about your soul purpose, right? This is about your contribution. And you'll know that it's your sole purpose because it will scare the bejesus out of you, right? Your sole purpose. If it's your ego, it's going to be like fame, and I'm just finally going to get that love that I never got from my family and my mother and father. Things like that. I'm going to be famous and this and that. That's an ego hit. Right? That's the ego hit. And that's fantasy. That's a total fantasy. You know you're face to face when you're, you know, on it. Like you're about to go on your sole purpose. So what's stopping you? What's stopping me from answering that call that's coming to me? Right? We'll go into the medicine of what to do. But fear, it depends on you. But it's usually fear that I'm not adequate. I don't have the resources. I'm not qualified for that. I'm too small. That's too big, and it terrifies me. It makes me so uncomfortable. And I remember, like, I understand this energy, right? When way back in the day, I was fine, just under the radar. I had my little job. I was happy, very content. I wouldn't say happy, but content. To be small. And then the universe started knocking on my door, and I was going to apply to this job, and it was more than a job. It was like a big career move, and I had my little jobs that I had just to pay the bills, but this one was really going to stretch me. And for some reason, because of the woman who became my wife, when we first started dating, she was very like encouraging. She could see me. She could see my potential. And she said, you need to apply for this. And it's like, no, how can I can't do this, right? This is way too big and over my head. But she kept at me, and she's like, no, I see you, right? You have this potential. And it's like, okay, I'll do it. So she went off traveling, and the deadline, right, to submit my resume and my cover letter was the next day, and it's like 9 p.m. and I'm totally procrastinating, right? Digging in my heels, and I said to my intuition was like, okay, you need to write this resume, and you need to format this and that and print it out. And that was coming up, and then the ego was coming up. It's like, oh, I'll just play a couple more video games, right? And as soon as I went to do that, the power completely shut down in my apartment, and I went out to the building. Everybody's power was fine except mine. Mine was off, and I checked the fuses and everything. There was no logical reason. But I had the consciousness at that time to know, okay, this is the universe like kicking me out, right? So I got the lesson. It's like, okay, I went to the printers, and they had computers, and I worked on it, and you know, I'm cycling there, and I got home at 5 a.m. or something, but I got it done. But that job completely was part of my soul's destiny. It like brought out my leadership skills and all these skills and talents I never even knew I had, right? So it was clearly part of my soul's destiny. So this is a tower. Like my tower moment was that power shutting off, right? It's like, get out. So whatever your tower is, depending on your destiny, that's going to be showing you. It's time to move. It's time to make a move. So this is what this solar eclipse is, right? And it's scary because you got to face all your fears. I didn't want to lead people. That was the last thing I wanted to do. I didn't want to speak in public. I had like zero self-esteem at that time. But I needed that experience so that my character could really rise, right? So, yeah, just be aware of that. Like whatever is happening in your life, it's for your benefit. It's to get you on the correct path. And if you're given this vision, you know, with this, the 17.6, then I had the vision, right? I had the vision, but I dismissed it. It's like, oh, that's my imagination. But I had the vision. So if you're having the vision, it means that you're completely capable and resourceful, and you have what it takes. You've been gifted by the divine. They're not your gifts. They're gifts that you received from the divine, and it's for the world, right? Our sole purpose is not just for us in our own little selfish ego. It's like, it's for the world. It's for our contribution. So ask yourself, what stops me from answering the call? And this is what you have to face. That's your first hurdle, right? Okay, so there's a 17.6. And the other thing I want to just, the Pluto and Scorpio generation, this ties in with soul purpose, okay? So these are the people that have been born 1984 to 1995, right? They have Pluto and Scorpio. Now, this will apply to you too if you have a lot of Scorpio placements, like you have a stellium in Scorpio, or, you know, if your Black Moon Lilith is in Scorpio, you're totally Scorpionic, right? That so colors your chart with Black Moon Lilith in that position. But everybody's got a Scorpio that rules one of their houses, and that's where you're here to transform, right? Deeply transform and grow and evolve and change. But I'm talking about this people born with Pluto and Scorpio. Well, they're born with a poison, and they're here to transmute it. So this is the earth. This is the indigos, right? These are the indigos. And I'm an early indigo, so I'm an elder brother to this, in a sense, right, to the Pluto and Scorpios. So I understand this energy. And so the Pluto and Scorpios are here to transmute. Part of their purpose, right, is to transmute trauma into beauty and truth. So you may be saying, what's that peacock doing here? The peacock and the snake. Well, I don't know why I know this, but I know it for some reason. The peacock's one of the few animals, I think it's the only animal, that can eat a snake, a poisonous snake, and not die from it, right? So what it does, you can see its plumage, right? It's got beautiful plumage with those dots. What it does, it goes full with its wings like this, and then it hypnotizes the snake, right? By all these eyes, the snake becomes hypnotized, and then it attacks the snake and then it eats it, right? So what it's doing with that venom, right, from the poisonous snake, the venom gets transmuted and it becomes these beautiful eyes in the plumage, right? So I just love that as a metaphor for Pluto and Scorpio. And Pluto and Scorpio are really bringing in the Phoenix codes for humanity, right? For the sleeping Phoenix. Because Phoenix for Pluto and Scorpio, this is the highest. You know, you've got the snake, the scorpion. So like the lower frequency of the archetype of Scorpio. And then you've got the snake, and then you've got the Phoenix, right? So they're really here to really transform our society and our world. So they've got a big job, and they're here to transmute trauma into this beauty and truth, right? Like the peacock. So they've come here with ancient karmic venom still in their veins, right? So this is like betrayals, family secrets, hidden shame. This is all from their past lives. Sexual distortion. And like the peacock, they're never meant to avoid the snake. So they're born to face it and dance with it. This is like facing the snakes in their life, right? The demons, the shadows in their life. They're not afraid, right? But this is what's holding them back, is this ancient samskaras. So they're here to dance with the shadow, right? They're here to hypnotize the shadow and then alchemize it into beauty. So they're not here to deny the darkness in themselves and others, right? So they've come to alchemize the poison and then to walk through the fire. So Scorpio, Pluto souls, they have to let go of over responsibility, feeling responsible for everybody in their life, right? They need to let that go. They need to let go of being emotionally abandoned and accepting false intimacy, right? The Pluto and Scorpio souls have to raise the bar now because they've got a big job on our planet and the call's coming, right? The youngest Pluto in Scorpio are going through their Saturn return right now. So there's a bunch of them that are maturing spiritually. So initiation doesn't, the Pluto and Scorpio needs to know, the initiation doesn't come through trying to fix anything. You're not here to fix anything. You're here to allow things to die and then be reborn. And this includes yourself, especially yourself. You're not here to be comfortable, right? You're not here to have a cushy vacation lifetime. You're here to do some deep, deep work for the planet and for yourself, and to let go of all this venom that's in your veins, right, from your past lives. I think of us like Scorpio because it's so intense, right? Coming in out of the portal is the womb, right? Coming out of the womb, but coming out from the gates of hell, right? Back to, oh my God, I'm back here, right? They can't relax, right? Their nervous system is like they're always on edge because they're coming from a place of crises. But they're here to help others go through this huge transformation that we're going through, right? For this sleeping phoenix. And they definitely have the codes for the phoenix. Okay. So we went from seeing the pattern, and then let's go to the 21.1 because this is next. So this is the movement, right? The movement goes from, for the solar eclipse, it goes from the 17 to the 21. So this is the sacred enforcer, right? The sacred enforcer. This is the inner queen. This is the Black Panther, right? This image. So look at this in terms of archetype, right? Archetype. Now we've all had past lives, not just as humans, but we've gone through the mineral realm, the plant realm, all the realms, and the animal realm. So this is a good archetype, a good animal. We've all spent a lifetime probably as a Black Panther. So to bring this Black Panther archetype back, right? And this is the sacred enforcer. This is the inner queen, right? So this is the action, right? So facing your fear, and this is what's next on the agenda. So you're not just watching anymore. It's time to start to take action on your soul purpose. So the divine feminine, right? Sacred enforcer as an archetype to adapt. She's not waiting to be rescued, right? She's not a damsel in distress. And she's biting through, because this is the gate of biting through, right? Through the pattern of overgiving, proving herself, and spiritual bypassing. It's okay, right? That person completely, did this to me and did that to me. Like, oh, love and light. It's like, no, you got to go deep, right? And feel. What's the feelings that are coming? I'm angry. We'll feel the anger and alchemize it, right? So she's no longer the sacred enforcer, is no longer choosing the spiritual man who avoids his inner work. And I did a whole video on the weak man. She's not interested in that anymore. Her standards are higher now. The bar is higher for her because she respects herself. That's the sacred enforcer. Or she's not choosing the karmic pattern that numbs her, right? That she doesn't feel alive. I feel dead inside. I'm just like a robot going through life, right? There's no zing or passion anymore. Or she's not choosing that role that erodes her power, right? She's not into this role that erodes her power. She feels too small in energy. Can't be her authentic self. So for the divine feminine, the 21st gate, it's not about fighting. It's not at all about fighting. It's about honoring your energetic truth, It's about saying no without apology. No is a complete sentence, right? Setting boundaries, holding boundaries without feeling guilt, ending contracts with people who cannot meet your heart with reverence, right? They just walk all over your heart, right? End those contracts. And you've tolerated this karmic interference in the name of love, right? But eclipse is not asking you to tolerate anymore. That's ending. You're not tolerating it anymore. It's asking you to bite through the distortion, right? Through the karmic, right? The glamourine where you can't see, like you're biting through, and protect your sacred innocence. That's what you're doing. You're protecting your sacred innocence. And this is a great archetype. The panther watches. Remember, I did that little short on this. Look at my shorts on my YouTube channel. The panther watches and discerns, right? And that's what you do as the divine feminine. You'll discern what's truth or not. But you remember, you have to stay in your body. All the power is in your body. Okay, so there's that. So what's the motivation to this, right? What's all this about? Well, it's the 25. Neptune, Venus, and Mercury are all in the 25. And that's like the universe saying, look over here, look over here. So what's motivating you to make these changes? Well, it's your innocence, right? Your innocence. That's why I brought Pluto and Scorpio up, because they've lost this, right, from their past lives through all that venom that they had to take on, right? What they saw, power and balance and, corruption, all of that stuff, the abuse of power, right? So what's motivating you is your innocence, reclaiming your innocence. So the opposite of innocence is like cynicism, being black-pilled. Oh, people are horrible and that's just the way it is. That's not your true state. It's innocence. So there's that thing from the Bible that we hear, well, no, peace is here when the lion lays down with the lamb, right? And so what does this really mean? Because the lion is connected to the 25th gate. And when I first saw that, I thought, that's really odd that the lion's there. I would expect the lamb. But it does there, right? And why? What is this showing us with peace? That when power remembers, because the lion's very, very powerful, its true purpose, which isn't to attack and to exploit the vulnerable and the weak, but it's to protect the innocent, right? So that's what the 25 is saying right here. That's when power remembers its true purpose, which is to protect the innocent. And that's the lion and the lamb here. So that's what you're doing this for, is reclaiming your innocence. And this is the return back to Eden, right? It's coming to your true power, which is your innocence. And your innocence isn't like gullible and, naive in a sense. It's like, no, there's power in your innocence. And you remember that you're a child of God. You remember that you're a child of the divine, and you've got a lot of power there. And this is you, right? In a sense too, is this. This is what you're protecting, right? You're protecting. But with the archetype of the Black Panther, by watching and discerning. And then the lion. Does the lion have to do anything? No, people are afraid of the lion just by its energy, right? Just by its aura. So that's what you take on. You take the aura of self-respect, right? The aura of self-value, right? You don't have to do anything. Your aura will do all the talking, all the talking. I remember my ex-wife. She always had me around. She felt protected by me. Anyway, we got in this little argument and she went off on her own. And she came back and she just said, this really strange thing happened to me. And she said she could feel this man, like, eyeing her up and just being dominant and you know. Anyway, she just said she just felt like this surge of power move through her. And she just looked at him and he just ran away. He just ran away, this man. And did she have to do anything? No, it was all her aura. It was, she brought up the divine feminine, the power of the divine feminine, which is about respect, right? Respecting yourself. So you can do this too, right? Bring up the lion and the panther within yourself, right? And what are you protecting is your sacredness, and that's your innocence. That's your innocence. And that's what you're protecting. Like, how dare you you don't have the right to treat me like this, right? I have value and I have self-worth, and that's what you're protecting. So this is about finally honoring your energetic truth, saying no without apology, holding boundaries, ending contracts with people who do not meet your heart, and then letting go of this karmic distortion. So the solar eclipse will show you this. Will show you this. So I think that's all I want to share about the solar eclipse. And the other thing I want to share is I'll put a link below, but this is a meditation for you. It's free. It's on my website. And this is a great, if you're like having challenges, like trusting and having faith in the divine, which is required now, is there's a great meditation using the Narayan Shabbat. And Shabbat means that which cuts through your ego so that you can experience your divinity. And so the mantra, the Shabbat, says, when hardships strike so deep that nobody lends their hand, there's nobody around to help you. This is total ego death. We all have to go through it. Everybody's gone. Even your loved ones turn to enemies. Even your karmic relationships turn, I love that person, and now they feel like they're my enemy. All your family retreat into the shadows. They just disappear. There's no support. When every worldly support is stripped away and all hope has vanished like mist, in that moment, if your soul only remembers the divine, even the burning winds cannot touch you, right? And we all have to go through this ego death. And if you're going through something like this, please go to my website and follow this meditation, and it will bring comfort to you. It will soothe you, because these are powerful mantras. They're thousands of years old. Okay? And now we'll go into the readings here. And let me just check something before I get into it. Okay. You know, a good way to look at innocence is to pretend that you have a little child with you all the time, right? And the way that somebody treats you, imagine that they were treating a little child like that, right? And that will help you to get in touch with your own innocence. And that's something you never want to lose, is your innocence. And this solar eclipse is really pointing us back to that we have to get in touch with our innocence again. Okay, so let's start off with the twin flames. What I want to say is there's the types, the different types, the human design types, and I do the reflectors at the end for a reason, and they're really mirroring the fractal. So they're mirroring every part of the fractal, even in terms of the twin flames. So they really, so you want to watch your type, but then I want you to watch watch if you're a twin on the twin flame journey, but also watch, okay, I'm a generator. Well, if you're a generator, then go watch the reflector part too, because it's going to resonate. Always does. It's really amazing. And again, this time it did as well. Okay, so we're going to start off with the twin flame. On the twin flame here. So like I said when I said this before, how I do it. I don't pick the cards, the divine does. So I set a prayer for my fractal. right? And make it sacred. I make everything sacred. And then I just shuffle. I'm just very neutral, and I shuffle, and then the cards start jumping out. Okay, so what do we got here? So this is for the solar eclipse for the divine feminines of the twin flames. And so this is about seeing through the bondage, right? And choosing love, right? Like real love, self-sovereign, whole love, divine love. So the card 1 is the King of Swords reverse, and this is the masculine wound here. The masculine wound, this is what this represents. It's detachment, it's cold, it's strategic, and it's disguised as clarity. So it's a masculine wound. So this is the karmic masculine, right? The karmic masculine in your relationship, and it's in shadow. So it's he's withholding truth from you. He's weaponizing logic. He's staying emotionally disconnected to protect his own illusion of control. This is what this card represents. So for many of you in the fractal, this is the father wound, right? This is your father wound right here. So you're either projecting that on your twin flame, or you're in a karmic relationship and he's completely expressing that for you so that you can see it. So he knows the truth, right? This karmic knows the truth, but he won't say it. He sees me, but he won't come forward. He won't come forward, right? So this could be your twin too, as well. So this card reveals the core distortion. Thinking love must be earned by emotional perfection, right? That you have to be emotionally perfected. And there's the wound right there. Okay, and then have it all together, right? Like emotions are messy. Emotions are messy. I can't have anything to do with that. I've got to be in complete control of my emotional state. And then look, the devil. The devil. I think the devil was in the last twin flame reading too. The devil shows up sideways. So not up, not down, sideways. So this means the karmic loop is weakening for you, divine feminine, right? Because it's not fully up, so it's not in full power, and it's not down, it's not finished yet, right? So the sideways devil is transitional energy, and the fractal, you're no longer being seduced by trauma bonding. A lot of these karmic relationships are trauma bonds that come from your past lives. Obsession or spiritual fantasy, but the hook is still there. Just enough fear, enough longing to keep you circling. So this is the maybe he's the one energy, right? Maybe he is my soulmate. Maybe he is my twin flame, this guy, right? This King of Swords reversed. Just enough, right? So the eclipse is asking you, are you willing to love yourself enough to let this illusion collapse, right? Do you have enough self-respect and self-esteem to let this die, right? Let this go. So then you've got the Eight of Swords, right? And this is mental, right? The mental prison, the Eight of Swords. And it's a self-created cage, right? So wherever you think you're trapped, it's not true. You're trapping yourself because it's all in your mind. So this is gate 17 in shadow, right? So clinging, the shadow of the 17 of the solar eclipse, right, is opinion. So this is like clinging to an opinion. It's only an opinion. It's not reality of what this connection is supposed to be. It's supposed to be like this instead of letting it evolve or letting it collapse and die, right? So this is also the Pluto and Scorpio karma, which is if I suffer enough, maybe this will be sacred, right? Maybe he'll rise for me, right? Maybe this will be a spiritual relationship if I let myself suffer enough. But the truth is, this cage is open, and the mind's only keeping you there. It's only the mind that's keeping you in this state. You let go of these beliefs and these opinions, then you're going to go into farsightedness. You're going to go into the, back to the hawk, right? This is like the hawk. The hawk is the totem of the 17, where you can see clearly, right? But you've got to let go of this mental prison. You're clinging to something that's not true. You're clinging to the illusion, right? So then you've got the 10 of Pentacles reversed, and this is false legacy. It's a false legacy. It's not up, right? 10 of Pentacles upright is the legacy. So this is the fantasy union. So this is the crumbling of an idealized ending, right? It's crumbling. It was all just a fantasy. All of this was a fantasy. So this is the death of the fairy tale, not as a punishment, but as freedom, So this card shows that the collapse of a timeline that looked good on paper, looked really good on paper. He looked really good on paper, right? That, it felt destined. This relationship felt destined, but it lacked embodiment, right? It wasn't grounded. It wasn't grounded in reality. Right? So you're not here to build a white picket fence with your karmic. You're not here to have like all the babies and the kids and you're all, skipping down through the park. That's not your destiny with this karmic. Right? You're here to build a legacy of truth. That's what this is saying. With truth, with or without a partner. With or without a partner, you're here to build something, and this is your sole purpose, right? So what is it? What's the call? You need to answer the call and stop wasting your energy on this karmic, right? Feeding this karmic relationship. And then the anchor card is the Chariot. So it's time to move forward, right? With clarity, not attachment. Not attachment. This is showing attachment. So the divine feminines here on the twin flame journey, you're ready to move, right? So it's time to get the reins now. Right with this the 21 too, the 21.1, the sacred enforcer, right? It's about taking the reins back of your life. So stop waiting for this other person to come and steer, right? You are your own sacred vehicle now, and it's time to drive it, right, towards alignment with your soul. And then the spirit animal here is the hawk. And look at that, right? The hawk, this is the 17. This is what jumped up. So this is the messenger, the vision keeper. And the hawk appears when the soul is ready to see without distortion. And it carries the energy, right, of the 17.6, clarity beyond opinion. And this is the vision keeper returning. You've seen the pattern, now rise above it. Choose love, but not at a cost of your vision. So the hawk is lifting you out of the bondage loop here, right? So that you can see from the sky where you've been trapped and what needs to be cut and what is true beyond attachment, right? So this eclipse is not about whether your twin, like we'll take it to your twin, wakes up or not. This eclipse is not about your karmic, if your karmic's going to wake up or not. It's about you freeing yourself from the illusion. This is the illusion that love has to hurt, right? Love has to hurt. And then it means it's love. If I'm suffering, that means it's love, right? That's an illusion, right? So the karmic masculine withheld the truth, and the devil whispered doubt to you, right? Whenever you have doubt about the twin flame journey, I don't know. This is crazy. That's the devil in your ear. This is this fear frequency. The mind built a cage, right? That you're in, this back and forth of duality. And now you've seen the pattern, and now it's time to rise, and not away from love, but into the kind of love that doesn't ask you to stay small, right? You need to diminish yourself and stay small and censor yourself, and then I'll love you. No, you're letting this go, right? You're letting this illusion go. And it's time to start loving yourself. So honor the pattern that you're starting to see, right? With the solar eclipse. Okay, that's the twin flames. And then we'll go to the manifestors here. And so this is a shorter reading for the types. So there's the Five of Cups reversed. And this is buried grief and loss that was never mourned, right? So this is a suppressed sorrow from past lives, right? Like being exiled and failures and betrayals where you were blamed, you were cast out, and you were misunderstood. So often manifestors can carry the frequency of, I messed it all up. I said too much. I ruined everything. But reversed, this is saying you're ready to let go of the role of the destroyer. You're not playing that role anymore. You're not the wound. You're the one who walked through the wound. Page of Pentacles reverse says fear of starting over, fear of being seen as inexperienced, like you don't have it all together. So there's a deep hesitation to begin anything new after so many past initiations ended in collapse. So you're terrified of the student going back into the student role because you've been the leader in many, many lifetimes, right? So you're afraid to become the student. You're not used to it. But this eclipse is a spiritual reset. You get to learn again, softly, but from love. So there's the tower, and the old structures are falling, so let it. So this is the identity death, the ego's unraveling, the mask is being torn off. But this time it's not happening to you, it's happening for you, for your real self to be revealed. And let go of the manifestor who leads from protection. Let the soul lead you, right, in terms of your initiation. So you got the otter reversed, and that's joy. Your joy, you're repressing your joy. Your inner child is abandoned. There's fear of intimacy. And this is where it lands in your body. So you've armored yourself from joy. You pretend that you don't care because no one ever stayed, right? I didn't really care anyway, right? So the truth is you want connection. You still want connection. Even the manifestors want connection with that aura, right? With that repelling aura. Closed and repelling auras. But you want real intimacy, you want deep laughter, you want some fun, right? You want a soul play, you want to let that innocence return and let yourself be soft again, right? So that's the manifestors. And then we got the generators here. Okay. It's 4:20. It's like 4:25 where I am right now. It's so quiet. I love this time in the morning. Okay, the generators. The generators got two cards popping out here, and that's the Three of Wands and then the Page of Cups in reverse. So you've been waiting for something. That's what this says. You've been waiting for something you've already earned. So this is the my time is coming energy, right? With that Three of Wands. But the eclipse says you're no longer waiting, you're remembering. You're remembering. The Page of Cups reverse is the inner child's romantic naivete. Has been crushed or silenced. You've shut it down and hoping to avoid disappointment. But now it's time to reopen, right, generators? not for fantasy, but for intimacy with yourself, right? So it's allowing yourself to be open and childlike and anticipating, right? Something good. But now it's time so the anchor is the emotional suppression with the Kings of Cups reverse. You've been holding for other people, but nobody's holding for you. So this card shows how deep you feel and how much you hide. So you got a lot of emotions going on in there in the reverse, right? So this eclipse invites you to feel without drowning. It's not going to kill you to have a feeling, right? Just allow yourself to have a feeling. To love, you can love without disappearing and losing yourself. And you can choose you. If nobody else, at the dance of life, right? And nobody's coming over and choosing the generator. Well, you go choose yourself. You go out dancing by yourself, right? In the dance of life. So the mouse reversed, you got mouse and beaver. You've been shrinking in the name of safety. Over focusing on details, trying to be good, the good girl. Playing small because it felt familiar. And mouse reverse says your precision is not a flaw, but you were never meant to live in the corner. You were never meant to live in the corner. And then you got beaver, which is perfect for generators, right? This is sacred labor, right? So this is devotion. It's heart-built legacy. This is the healthy generator. You're not here to hustle or serve from depletion. Your sacral getting depleted. You're here to build what you love, right? With your whole heart. So Beaver says, build only what you're willing to live inside, and stop building houses for people who don't plan to stay, right? So start building in your life for you, right? So this is all about choosing you here and letting yourself feel, like be happy and anticipating for something. I'm waiting for something, right? It's okay to be happy. Yeah. And stop protecting yourself. Okay. So you're here to not play small, right? You're not a burden. You're not here to hold up everybody else while you disappear. And you're here to build beauty from what your heart desires for this solar eclipse. Okay. My voice is getting weak here. Okay. Let me just check something. Do. Where did it go? Okay. Okay, and for the manifesting generators, we got the King of Swords again here. So this is the masculine mind has dominated you. This is logic, right? So whether internalized, so it could be you, it could be your father, or your partner, or your boss, or your karmic relationship, or your twin. So this card speaks to a pattern of don't speak until it's perfect. Do not speak until everything is perfectly formed in my mind, and then I will, right? Perfectly script it, and then I'll communicate it. Don't move unless I'm sure. I'm not making any moves until I'm sure, until I'm positive. Stay composed, right? Keep my composure. Don't get messy. Don't get messy, right? But for manifesting generators, that kills your spark, right? That kills your spark and your joy and your mojo, right? So the eclipse says the mind is not your master. Your mind is not your master. Your mind is your tool, right? The mind makes a horrible master, but you're the master as a soul, right? And the mind is your tool, right? So it's your mirror. The mind is not your master. It's actually your mirror. It's a mirror. I don't want to get too esoteric here, but it like reflects consciousness. That's what it does. It's like yeah, it's a mirror. It's a little mirror. That's another video. Okay, so we've got the Four of Pentacles here, and this means emotional withholding. It's hoarding onto your resources, which includes your own self. Because your resources too are your gifts and your talents, right? Those are inner resources. It's not just about money and material. This is scarcity in the heart, right? She's clinging to her purse over her heart chakra. So this is the fear of being seen until you're ready, right? Until you're ready. Like making a mistake. There's a lot with this King of Swords, a lot of fear around making a mistake. Holding on to safety, afraid to lose what little stability that you have, that you've claimed. But in that grip, no energy can enter. No new energy can come here. Right? Any kind of divine support, it can't come in here. And then you've got the Four of Swords reversed. So you haven't truly rested. The saying, you haven't rested. You've just paused the fight. So this is the sacred burnout card here. This is spiritual exhaustion masked as I'm fine. You know, the I'm fine face. I'm fine, everything's great, right? So your nervous system needs deep, deep healing. This is dysregulation of the nervous system right here, not just space, right? And Ra talked about this in Human Design, is sleeping alone, sleeping alone. You're more prone to be conditioned when you're horizontal next to another person, right? And so you can take on their stuff, especially if you have an open solar plexus. You're going to take on all their stuff, right? So it's good to do this, right? I started when I was married. We did that. We did that. And I had the best sleeps ever because I'm a projector, right? I don't have an open solar plexus, but you just feel more like you when you wake up. So that may be something that you can do for this Four of Swords in reverse because you're exhausted. Your nervous system's fried. So you have to stop hiding in stillness. Right? Go lie in the womb of your own body and listen. So this is saying to go remove yourself and listen to your own self. Right? Listen to your own, be in your body. Get out of the head and the mind, be in the body and listen. Listen to yourself. So the anchor card is the Page of Wands. So the fire is still there and it's upright. You got a spark, right? There's a spark still in you, manifesting generator. Even after everything you've gone through, the betrayal, the rejection, the silence, you're still burning. You're still burning. So this is the spark, right? It's the pure. I'm having deja vu again. This happened last time. It's like I've said this before. You know that feeling? I've said this before. This is the collapse of all the timelines. This is what happens because we're experiencing all our lives at the same time, all our past lives. Anyway, back to this present moment here. So this is about being messy, right? It's all about allowing yourself to be messy and pure and innocent, right? And you look at children. Look at children. Children are so fearless, and when they try new things and they make mistakes, and what do? They laugh, right? Because they're learning. And then we get all serious about it, and we don't allow ourselves to make mistakes, and that's how we learn. We're in Earth School. So at Manifesting Generators, allow yourself to get messy, right? It takes a couple eggs to make an omelet. You got to get messy. Allow yourself to make a mistake and laugh about it. And laugh about it. It's like I'm learning. So, and there's chaos. And with creativity, there's always chaos. Chaos precedes order, right? There's always chaos that comes with creativity. So just relax, right? The divine feminine manifesting generators, just relax. Relax in your body. You're not relaxed when you're in your head and you're trying to keep it all together. So let it move, let it speak, let it dance, right? She's dancing, like move your body, like let it, like throw this off, this clinging and trying to keep it all together. Okay, so what do you got down here? You got 3 popped out for the MGs, popped out of the deck. So you got the raccoon, you got the frog, and you got the tarantula reversed. So the raccoon is the hidden artist. It's a hidden artist. So this means that you've been creating in the dark. You've been like on the sly, right? The raccoon with the little mask, right? I'm doing it on the sly, creating in the sly. And wearing masks, right? Because you didn't feel safe to shine. So raccoon is saying, you're ready to step out. You're ready to show it, right? Show it to the world. But only if you let go of this needing to be perfect, right? So this is a creative, some kind of creative project, manifesting generator. It's time to show it to the world, right? And it's time to shine. And it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. Raw creation, right? Raw creation. It's authentic. If it's too polished, it's contrived. People can feel it. They can feel it. This is so contrived. It's so cliche. It's right. There's no life to it, right? Raccoon is like, let it out, right? Let it out. Some of the best art and music and stuff, it's raw, it's unpolished. You can feel the soul in it. You can feel the soul in it. Right? So there's, so raccoon says that, let go of control of that. And then the frog is saying emotional cleansing, ritual release, water healing. So this is about purging yourself of the old, right? Of the old. So this is like crying, like let yourself cry, go this, get into a salt bath, sound healing and breathing and shaking, right? To shake it off. It's about purifying yourself, right? So you got to clean your house. That means your vehicle, your body, and then your surroundings. Just like get that energy out of you, the chaos out of you, and get the energy around you aligned, right? So frog is saying that you're not too sensitive. That's a story that you've been telling yourself. And frog's like, no, it's BS. What you're doing, you're not too sensitive. You're remembering, right? You're remembering. Right? Your soul, you're remembering your past lives, you're remembering your dharma, your soul purpose. And let the body grieve what this mind, this King of Swords, is denying. Let the body grieve. There's grief in the body that has to be released, Divine Feminine, MG. And then you've got Tarantula reversed, and that's an indecision. This is avoiding your soul path. You've got the 17, you've got the vision, but you're not taking action, right? You're trying to like, I'm not perfect, right? Nobody's perfect. This is an ego. This is an ego game that's keeping you from your soul purpose. Well, you're not perfect. You're not good enough. It all goes back to self-worth, right? So go back to your self-worth issues. As soon as you're with the soul, right? As soon as you're aligned with the soul, when you stop this, like resting in your body, right? As soon as you're with your soul, all those virtues come flooding in, which is self-esteem and self-worth. So the crossroads is here. The Tarantula reverse says the crossroads is here, and you know what direction you need to take. You know it. You see it with the 17. But you fear of disappointing others. That's your fear with Tarantula reverse. I fear that I'm going to disappoint others. Right? And that's kept you stuck. That's kept you stuck. So Tarantula upright walks into a whole new timeline, but reversed, she waits too long and she misses the opening. So the eclipse says now or never. Now or never. Should I stay or should I go? Right? And the portal is opening for the solar eclipse. So I would say it's time to go with these cards. So if you wait to be chosen, you'll keep looping the karmic. You'll be in the karmic loop. Once again, another lifetime, right? So you've been carrying the weight of knowing, the ache of suppression, the fire of potential trapped in your belly. You know, right? You know, I got fire in my belly, but I'm holding it. All this potential, right? And you've withheld your truth to keep other people comfortable. You've edited your passion to be digestible, right? But the eclipse is not asking you to make sense. It's asking you to live. It's time to live, MJs. Time to live. And to cry what hasn't been cried out. And to speak what hasn't been said. Express what hasn't been said. And to create what hasn't been allowed. Right? The hidden artist. And you're not too late. Right? You're not too late. Don't listen to that. You're not too late. It's not too late. But you're being called. You're being called to your future, right? To your future timeline. Powerful, powerful for the MGs. Okay, so let's go to the projectors here. And you got the Six of Cups, the Two of Swords in reverse, Justice in reverse, Crocodile and Wolf in reverse. So this eclipse is cutting the ties of soul contracts that were made in survival, right? So this is the Six of Cups, right? This is a past life bond. It's an inner child wound. It's soul family. So this is a karmic thread. You recognize them because you've done this dance many times, right? But recognition doesn't always mean alignment. Right? When you get recognized from a karmic, doesn't always mean alignment with your soul purpose. So you're remembering who you were, but forgetting who you are now. Right? So it's like one leg in one timeline, one leg in the other. Have you ever had that? Like you remember past lives? Like, oh, I remember I had a past life with this person. And the pull can be really strong to go into that familiar role, like really, really strong. But then you've got this other leg. It's like, no, I'm here in this timeline, in this lifetime. So this could be what's happening with someone in your life, projector. So with the Two of Swords reversed here, this is intuition overload. It's refusal to choose. So projectors hold so much clarity that they can be overwhelmed by the responsibility of truth. That's what a projector can see the truth, right? Can see the authenticity or not in the other person. So this card says, you know what you're feeling, but you're waiting for permission to act on it. So no more. You know what you're feeling. It's time to act. So justice reversed here says there's a karmic imbalance, there's an energetic debt, and it's not your weight to carry. So you've been holding the balance for others, playing the mirror, the container, the energetic sponge. And this card says this is not your karma to resolve, and let go of who you had to be to keep the peace. So this is a letting go of an old self. It's justice, right? I have to be this person so I can keep the peace in my family of origin or whatever situation you're in now. And it's a not self. It's not you. So this is spiritual burnout from overholding. And then you've got crocodile reversed. So this is delayed truth, suppressed primal energy. And so in this state, you're sitting on a volcano. That's what this is saying. And playing it cool. But there's a lot of emotions here. There's rage, there's grief, there's power beneath the surface is boiling. right? So Crocodile says, stop watching, strike when the truth is clear. Don't wait until too late to speak. So I talk about this. I think I've maybe talked about this on my YouTube, but definitely in my programs, is you have to be embodied. You have to be in your body. Your body's going to show you, right? And then if you're getting angry and feeling angry and bitter with certain people, you've got to go to your solar plexus. And for me, it just starts to quiver a little bit. And the quivering is always showing me that my boundaries are being overstepped and that I need to speak, right? But if you let this build and build and build and build and build, you'll explode in rage. It's got to come out, right? So wolf reversed is an abandonment wound. And this is the loss of a soul tribe, right? The lone wolf doesn't know where his pack is. So this is exile. This is exile coding from your past. And so many projectors feel that they don't really belong anywhere. So they settle for crumbs just to feel included anywhere. And wolf reverse says you're not meant to be part of a pack that doesn't know your worth, right? You're not meant to be in a pack like that. To be recognized, others know your worth as a projector. They value you as a projector. So, so stop trying to prove yourself, right? Stop chasing and letting the wrong tribe, and let the wrong tribe fall away, right? So you're not crazy as a projector. You're clairvoyant, right? You can see. You're not too sensitive. You're precise. You're focused. And you've had the weight of the entire karmic families on your back because you could see what they couldn't see. But this eclipse isn't asking you to explain yourself. It's asking you to release the roles you've accepted to be loved and to let go of balancing the scales that were never yours to carry. And you're not here to be chosen. You're here to stand at the gate, right? Stand at the gate, the portal, as people are moving through into the cross of the sleeping phoenix, and you're there at the portal to speak the truth. Even if no one thanks you for it. It's a thankless job to be a projector. I know I'm a projector, right? Even if you don't get a thank you. Okay. You understand why we can get better, right? Sometimes. Okay, and reflectors are at the end, right? Let's see. Finish it off with the reflectors. So if you're another type, this is going to be, the reflectors are mirrors of the fractal. So they're mirroring each type. They're mirroring the projector a little bit, mirroring the MG, the generator, the manifestor, and the twin flame a little bit too. Okay, so let's look at these then more closely. So Eight of Swords reversed. This is self-liberation, collective unbinding. This is releasing illusion, right? Realizing the cage was never real. So for the reflector, this card is everyone's pain reflected back. I've carried the fear of the generators. I carried the suppression of the MGs, the overholding of the projectors, the abandonment of the manifestors, right? The previous readings, the reflectors held all of that. So reversed is now I drop what's not mine. The reflector drops what's not mine. So you as another type in twin flame, you drop what's not yours, right? What's not yours. And you choose yourself. I choose myself for this eclipse. So the Ace of Cups and the King of Wands together, this is emotional rebirth. It's embodied fire. This is a powerful fusion, these two. These two came out together, right? Ace of Cups was just under the King of Wands. So this means that the reflector is no longer fragmented. They're stepping into wholeness. The cup of love, the Ace of Cups, is being offered, not as a fake thing, but as a self-blessing, a self-blessing. And the King of Wands says, I will protect you now. I will move with heart. I will shine unapologetically. So this is divine union within, right? This is the divine masculine and divine feminine coming together. It's a divine union within. So the anchor is the world's reversed. And this is the completion that was not allowed until now. So reflectors often hold the unfinished business of everybody else. They carry the karma that no one else could process. And this card reverse says, the loop is ending, but only if you let yourself close it. Right? There's no savior coming for you. Right? No twin to resolve the ache. No collective healing to wait for. You're at the end of the story that you've been carrying. You're at the end. And then you got the fish, right? The fish. And this means flow, sensitivity, deep feeling, spiritual adaptability. And the fish lives in the unseen. It feels before it knows. It carries the coding of the 25th gate, right? It's moving without any agenda. That's what the 25th gate's about. So reverse, the fish can get swept by the current, right? Swept by the current. But upright, the fish swims with awareness. No longer trying to be everything for everybody. So this is about swimming in your own waters now and feel only what is true and to return to your own current. So you have been the mirror, the reflectors, and all the other types too. In terms of working with the mirror, you've been the mirror. You've reflected the grief, the fear, the delay, the power no one else was ready to own. But now the mirror turns inward. You're done with being everybody, people's scapegoat, right? You're done with it. And what do you see when you turn inward? Is love. That's what you see. So you're not for everybody, right? You're not for everybody, but you're for you. And that's enough. So this eclipse does not complete you. It releases you from needing to be completed, right? So you stop chasing. You go within. This is about union within. So applicable to all the types in the twin flames. Okay, so that's what I have for you. And if you're on my newsletter, hopefully you are on my newsletter because you get more information and lots of good stuff in that newsletter. Is the retreat. So it's Awakening the Divine Feminine, and it's going to be April 17th. Let me just get the dates here. 18th. April 18th, 19th, and 20th. So keep that in mind, and it's going to be open for registration next week, and I'll have some copy up and things. Okay, so I hope you're doing well, and please comment and like and share if you feel called. And I will see you on Friday. Or, yeah. And you can follow me on Instagram, Telegram, and not Facebook, YouTube community. Okay? So I hope that you enjoyed that. Okay. Satnam Aloha, everybody.